If you're interested in purchasing a home right now anywhere in the US, you want to make sure you don't make any major mistakes along the way because they can cost you time and money. In this video, we're going to review the top commonly made mistakes by home buyers so that you can keep those mistakes in mind and not make them. The first big mistake is not really understanding what the future is for that particular neighborhood. Ask your real estate agent. Go to the county representatives, ask them what's the future of that particular area that you're looking to purchase into, especially if there's not a lot of development around it. So I'll give you an example. In Sarasota, east of Highway 75, there is a new construction community approved with about 7,500 homes. There's nothing there right now in the area that it's being approved in for the most part. I mean, there's some homes there, but once it's all said and done in the next 5 to 10 years, that whole area is going to feel very different. Of course, you'll have more people living there. With that comes traffic, but also the upside is that with it comes perhaps a new downtown area, grocery stores, restaurants. So you're just going to want to have a really good idea of not just the now, but what's the future of the particular neighborhood going to look like so you can make the best decision for you. If you're somebody that's interested in living somewhere more remote and after you purchase a home you find out, oh wow, all these homes are going to be built around where I'm going to live in, well, that's not going to be good because it's not really what you were chasing. But if you're somebody that actually wants to be around the hustle and bustle, you may actually want to get into a community like that now that's not completely built up so that you are possibly going to be cashing in the future 5 to 10 years from now in terms of appreciation, because it's very likely that that neighborhood will appreciate with more development moving in. Not checking the history of the house is a huge mistake. Maybe you walk into a home and it has been completely redone, it looks gorgeous, and you're ready to give a cash offer and you're thinking, what? I am not even going to do a home inspection, just give me that house. Big mistake. You're really going to want to understand, first of all, the history of the house. Has the house changed a lot of owners throughout the last 10 years? If yes, there might be a reason for that. Perhaps the house has issues. Has the house flooded? Has the house had termite? Have all the renovations done on the home been permitted? If not, that's going to open up a can of worms. So make sure you really look into the history of the house, and you can ask your real estate agent to help you so that you uncover any potential issues before you move ahead with the home. Some buyers rely solely on the MLS information. So they see a beautiful house on the MLS, gorgeous photos, they're reading the description, and in many cases they'll call me and they'll ask to give them a private virtual tour, which I absolutely love doing. Love doing it. FaceTime, Zoom, I can do all sorts of virtual tours. But when it comes down to putting an offer on a house, when I find out that that particular buyer has never even been in that city, they don't know the neighborhood, what I'll ask is that they come back in, tour the house with me in person. You have to understand that the information that you're seeing online, yes, it's really helpful, and sometimes it also has accommodating videos that can help tell the story, but the photos are taken with a wide angle lens. They're highly polished photos. You're going to want to come in person and look at the property yourself. Often I've actually heard buyers say, well, this property looks nothing like it does in pictures, because now they're taking it in the context of the neighborhood. So do yourself a favor. If you've never been in the city that you're looking to purchase in, come and spend some time there, vacation there for a week or two. But also, if you're getting ready to purchase a house, you really need to do yourself a favor and learn the neighborhood. You're not going to want to waive the home inspection. Too many people feel like they know what they're getting. They're a cash buyer. I don't want to waste a lot of time here on getting a home inspection. I think I'm getting a good price for the house. You don't know. Get a home inspector in there. In the grand scheme, we're looking at $1,300 or less, depending on what type of home inspection you're getting. The home inspector is going to make sure that the house is in good working order, and if not, it's going to get flagged out in the home inspection report. They'll look at the plumbing, the roof, the air conditioner, and that way you know what you're getting yourself into. If the house has a leak, do you want to fix that leak? Is that something you want to negotiate with the seller on? It just gives you more information about the house that I feel you really should have. And again, in the grand scheme of how much you're already about to pay for that home, get a home inspection, know what you're purchasing. Understand market trends for a specific city. Are prices going up? Are prices going down? In what price range are prices going up? Are prices going down? How do specific neighborhoods and zip codes do? You're going to want to really get a deep dive to better understand whether you're purchasing in a balanced market, is it a buyer's market, is it a seller's market. If you're in a situation where prices are actually coming down, a home has been sitting on the market for a long time, that's going to give you negotiation power. If you're purchasing in a market where homes are still selling really fast, prices are escalating, well, maybe you want to wait. Or if the forecast is prices are just going to continue to go up, then that's going to give you an understanding that if you want to buy your dream house, you're going to have to get a little bit more aggressive in terms of the price you're putting on the house and just how you're going to go about doing it. The more market data you have, the likelier it is that you're going to be purchasing the right property in the right neighborhood at the right price given the market situation. So often I see buyers just getting so emotional about the purchase of a house, and what they a lot of times don't do is seeing themselves living there in the next 5 to 10 years as their lifestyle is evolving. Maybe it's a younger couple who haven't had children yet, but they're planning on having children. Well, if you're purchasing a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home when you could afford maybe a 3-bedroom, 3-bath home with the anticipation that you're going to have children in the next year or two, then that's probably the property you should be looking at, is not just purchasing for today, but purchasing for the next 3, 5, 10 years. So you're going to want to imagine yourself living in that property in the future, if that's what you want to do. Now, if you're buying a home for just a year or two and then you're looking to scale up, that's a whole another ball game. But if you're looking to live in a place for a longer period of time and you understand that your lifestyle is also going to evolve, then that's the property that you need to be purchasing. So you need to envision yourself where you're going to be at in the next 5 to 10 years and then tailor that lifestyle towards the property that's going to be the best match for you. You're not going to want to overpay for certain upgrades. So for example, you might find a house that has just a beautiful garden, lots of different trees, vegetation, an area outside that absolutely feels like a tropical oasis, but somebody actually has to take care of it. Beyond figuring out what the cost of these upgrades are and is it worth it to you, is also to understand what is it going to cost me to maintain it. Take a beautiful pool that has a waterfall. I'm sure it's gorgeous, but you have to maintain the waterfall, the mechanics. What will it be like in 5 years from now? Is it going to look outdated? Sometimes upgrades that are so modern, so it right now, may actually feel very outdated in the next few years. Give all the upgrades some value. Make sure it actually aligns with your own interests. Are you going to be able to maintain those upgrades? That a lot of people don't realize all of the closing costs that they need to account for. So for example, if you're a cash buyer, the assumption is that you have the cash to purchase a home, but you also have to anticipate the appraisal costs in case you're getting an appraisal on the house, and it's recommended that you do so unless you feel really confident that the comp analysis that your agent did or maybe you did it is pretty solid and that you're not overpaying for a house. Also, you're going to want to budget for the inspection costs, and I highly recommend that you get an inspection on the house even if you're purchasing the house in cash, because you'd rather know now if there's a major issue with the house versus finding out about it later after you close. And you're more likely than not, and this is recommended, that you get title search and title insurance here in Florida, especially. It's just going to protect you against any future claims on the property. Tap into your real estate agent to help you list all of the costs that you need to anticipate. And you can also tap into the title insurance agent to help you get that information. Now, if you're somebody that's financing, you're gonna wanna have a down payment. On average, still, we're seeing more so 20% down versus 10 or 15. Though you can certainly get away with 10 or 15 or even 5%. And it really depends on how competitive the market is that you're about to get into. Now, some of the closing costs you're going to be able to roll into your mortgage. Talk to your loan officer, have them describe to you all of the closing costs and how it's going to impact your mortgage. As a matter of fact, you should have a really good understanding of what your monthly mortgage costs are going to be before you even move ahead with the purchase of a house, because you want to make sure sure that you're not over your head, and your loan officer certainly isn't going to approve you for a mortgage if you're not going to be able to afford it. But beyond the down payment, there's going to be costs that you're not going to be able to roll into the mortgage, such as inspection costs, possibly appraisal fees. You might have to pay out of pocket for that. So just get with your loan officer, get with your title insurance agent, and have a really good understanding up front what all the costs are. Just as much as you don't want to be surprised with the closing costs, you're also not going to want to be surprised with how much it's going to cost you to maintain the house once you own it. So you got to make sure that you can actually afford it and that you're not going to be stretched too thin when it comes to the budget that you need to have, especially if you're somebody that wants to save for the future or you want to do a lot of travels. In one of my other videos, I actually did a spreadsheet that I shared with everybody. And I'm going to link to that spreadsheet in the description section of this video, which essentially lists all the major costs that you need to think about. And it's going to help you kind of plan for the future. But let's just say you have a pool house, nice sized lawn. Who is going to mow the lawn? Is it going to be you, or are you going to hire somebody? If you're going to hire somebody, that could easily be $100, $200 a month, depending on how large that yard is. If you have a pool, who's going to service the pool? Perhaps it's you. But if you hire somebody to do it, that's probably going to cost you $100, maybe more. You're going to need an exterminator, especially when you live in a warm climate area such as in Florida. I recommend an exterminator at least every quarter. There's home repairs you're going to have to budget for. Typically, they say to budget about 1% of the price of the house in home repairs for a yearly basis. Who's going to service your air conditioner? Somebody's going to have to service it. Here in Florida, it runs pretty much 10 months out of the year, maybe even more. So it's expected you're going to need to service it twice a year. There's going to be a lot of costs that you're going to have to budget for. And wouldn't you rather know now how much to budget for versus later, when now all of a sudden you're in a pinch to needing to come up with the money? Also, it's going to give you another opportunity to make sure that this home purchase is actually going to make sense with your budget in your lifestyle. Lastly, and this is so important, I tell my buyers this all the time, do not get emotionally involved with the potential purchase of a house, because that's when you're going to make mistakes, because you're not going to think very clearly through all the pros and cons of the house. It's great to like a home and to get excited about it, but don't get too emotional, because when you're emotional about the purchase, all you're going to see are the pros. You're not going to see the cons of the house, and you're going to want to make the best decision for you by being able to think through the purchase very critically. You may come to the conclusion that this house is really not the best option for you, especially when there's other options out there. If you lose a home purchase out to somebody else, it's just a matter of time. There's going to be another house that probably is going to be much better for you. Thank you so much for watching today. I always appreciate when you do. Now, if you're somebody that's interested to purchase a home in the area that I serve, which is Venice, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch, and Sarasota, of course, I would love to hear from you. Feel free to call me anytime. We can schedule a Zoom call. I can walk you through what I have to offer, how I can bring you value to ensure that you have a successful real estate outcome in this area here. If you are in town, feel free to actually meet me in the office for a meet and greet prior to us working together. Thanks again so much for watching. I wish you all a great day. Take care.